Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, but not good night. Let's do together Use of English Part 1 Multiple Choice. The oldest leather shoe in the world. You want to challenge yourself, remember, when I say stop, you stop the video. Do it yourself, then you press play in order to compare answers. It is to be the oldest leather shoe ever found. Stop. First of all, I will make reference to the correct one, and then I will continue with the ones I have ruled out in order for you to understand the reasoning behind this exercise. The correct one is believed. And I'm sure when you filled in the gap with the verb, it sounded correct. It is believed to be the oldest leather shoe ever found. Why? Because you already know this structure. It is an impersonal passive. For example, he is thought to be a nice boy. When we introduce for the first time the impersonal passive, we always use the verb thought, but it can also be used with other verbs. For example, he's thought to be a nice boy. He is considered to be a nice boy. He is known to be a nice boy. So believe in yourself, in the knowledge that you already have. If it sounds right, it's because it is. If it sounds wrong, it's because it is. Now, let's go to A, accepted. We would not use it in this sense. It is accepted to be. Es aceptado ser. It doesn't sound right in Spanish, and it doesn't sound right in English. We would use it in another sense, for example, as the verb aceptar. Example, I accepted his offer. I accepted his help. I accepted his apology. No, it is accepted to be. Be regarded can be used in this sense, but it would have a different grammatical structure because regarded is always followed by as. So it would be, it is regarded as the oldest leather shoe ever found. It may be more familiar if we use known. It is known as the oldest leather shoe ever found. They belong to the same family. See, assessed is a word that you probably don't know, and you know it. But I suppose when you realized that believed sounded correct, you chose that one. You did the correct thing. You only choose the word you do not know when you know that the rest are incorrect. We always leave the unknown word to the end, and according to the circumstances, we choose it or we don't. Assessed means juzgar, so it didn't fit in the context. Exercise 2. The shoe was made of a single piece of leather stitched at the front and the back and was shaped to fit the wearer's foot. It had been with grass, either for warmth or to make sure it kept its shape. Stop. It is making reference to how the shoe was made and shaped. We always have to pay attention to see if it's an individual word or it belongs to a combination of them. Exercise 1, it was a combination because believed is a verb that is used in an impersonal passive. In exercise 2, it's a single word. So here what we want is the correct meaning in that context. In this case, what we do is that we translate it into Spanish to know more or less the word they want us to interpret it as. Y fue moldeado para encajar en el pie del portador. Había sido con hierba, ya sea por calor o para estar seguro que mantenía su forma. So they used grass to shape the shoe, así que utilizaron hierba para modelar el zapato. So we get the idea that the outside part of the shoe había sido rellenado con hierba. Now that we know this, we go to the vocabulary section. The word stuffed, probably you do not know it, so it's the last one you are going to pay attention to. Había sido cargado con hierba. It had been loaded with grass. That would mean all the shoe. So it's incorrect. Pushed, empujado. Había sido empujado con hierba. Grass may have been pushed into the shoe. But that meaning is not expressed if we say it had been pushed with grass. Blocked, bloqueado, no sense. So we continue with the idea that we had at the beginning, rellenado. Even though we do not know what stuff means, it's the one we choose. Probably means rellenar, which it does. Remember, never be afraid to choose a word we do not know. It's part of the game. It's a mistake, and it's a mistake that all students make at first. Exercise 3. The shoe is relatively small, but we can't say for. Whether it was worn by a man or a woman. Stop. Now we go to the vocabulary. Clear, specific, true, and certain. We realize it's a combination because it doesn't have a real meaning on its own. It's got to be followed by something. For example, in this case, it is for. So what do? We just place for in front of the word. For clear, doesn't sound right. For specific, never heard it. For true, doesn't sound right. For certain, this sounds right. And remember, believe in yourself. So if it sounds right, it probably is. And it is. Means con seguridad. Exercise 4. Says Dr. Ron Pinsasi, an archaeologist on the research. Stop. Now let's go to the vocabulary. Class, force, team, company. Now, it could be a single word because it has a meaning on its own. However, there is another noun in front of it, which give us clue of which is the correct one. Research means investigación. And what do researchers form part of? A team, because it is equipo de investigación.